Last week, the Met Police announced no new fixed penalty notice orders will be announced until after the local elections. Which means that as things stand, all we know in terms of an event that has been deemed to have broken the rules is the one that took place in the Cabinet Room on the 19th of July 2020. To remind ourselves, that is the one that took place after Boris Johnson had birthday celebrations with students, teachers and a cake at a school in front of the media that very morning, published on Number 10's social media. One that happened after lockdown easing meant that you could legally visit ill and dying relatives in hospitals, private houses, hospices or care homes. Easing that reopened non-essential retail. Easing that meant tradespeople had resumed working. Most strikingly of all, of course, the only event for which any cabinet minister has been fined so far is the one that appeared in the pages of the Times newspaper at the time. Rishi Sunak and Boris Johnson were reported by senior journalists as attending a small gathering in the cabinet room in what was sympathetically described as at the time as brief respite. And of course, no one minded. So why am I bringing any of this up? Well, when the Metropolitan Police have decided that this event has constituted a technical breach of the rules, well, let's turn to what the then Met Police Commissioner Cressida Dick said when this investigation was launched. Announcing the investigation to the London Assembly at the end of January this year, Dick justified the Met's extraordinarily rare retrospective investigation as being legitimate only if it met certain criteria. Of course, ordinarily, the Met would not retrospectively investigate. Let's take a listen.
But recognising that there might be some occasions where we would investigate retrospectively, we generated some guidelines, only guidelines, but guidelines that we have stuck to. And the occasions on which we have done that have been where we were looking at something which appeared to be the most serious and flagrant type of breach.
Something that appeared to be the most serious and flagrant type of breach. Now, different people take different views as to whether they think that Rishi Sunak and Boris Johnson in the cabinet room with a cake was a technical breach of the rules or not. But I've heard no one remotely serious suggest that particularly what Rishi Sunak is accused of doing constitutes, quote, something that appeared to be the most serious and flagrant type of breach. Let's remember what we're talking about here. People in a room for a meeting singing happy birthday before that meeting started. Not a rave, not a booze up, not an event at which anyone who attended can be accused of having been in Number 10 illegitimately. Now, you can argue that there may be future events that might reach the, quote, most serious and flagrant bar, but that, for the moment, is speculation. What any dispassionate observer must be able to see is that there is no reasonable case to be made that the 19th of June 2020 event was, by any reasonable definition, something, quote, that appeared to be the most serious and flagrant type of breach. And to that end, it appears that the Metropolitan Police may have stepped beyond their remit that their commissioner had set out. And that raises some big questions about the conduct of this entire investigation.